Culturally Clueless.
You guys, he is still alive. I know a lot of people wanted him gone, but Netanyahu is still alive. I don't actually want him to die. I want him to be severely punished for everything that he caused, for all the international war crimes, for literally everything he committed. Don't you? People are still dying at the hands of Al Qaeda linked militia groups in Burkina Faso, Niger, and also Mali, who are destabilizing the area severely. And I have another one. Iceland, the Netherlands, they joined the South Africans at the ICJ. And with that said, you guys, welcome back to Culturally Clueless, where we connect the dots, discover, and challenge the narratives we're told to accept. Salam alaikum.
People talking loud, everybody's got a take. Scrolling through the headlines, don't know what's real or fake. Late night conversations, what's the truth we chase? World keeps changing pace, but we're all...
Yes, guys, I am back. I'm officially back. And you know what? I miss y'all. I really missed y'all. You know what? Oh my gosh, I don't even know how to say, like, I'm super happy that I'm back. That's all I can say. I had to check my sound real quick. Sound check. Yep. So I am super happy to be back. I miss all of y'all. Thank you so much, you guys, for all of you who did reach out over social media. And thanks for your concerns. I am okay. I am okay. I'm great. I just needed to take a break for something. You know, we continuously work, we continuously grinding out here. So it wasn't like a break, but there's some things that happened and I needed to be taken care of. And I was like, you know what? Let me take a break altogether and let me just focus and let me just fix and whatever else was going on that needed to be taken care of. And you know what, you guys, I need to start with FCON. I need to start with FCON. Oh my God, what is happening with CAF? Like, seriously, they stripped Senegal of the title and they gave it to the Moroccans. So Morocco is now apparently the official winner of the AFCON 2025. It was a big blow up. This whole tournament, we talked about it before here, and everybody I think talked about it. There was a lot going on, especially also at the finals. And I don't know who is this supposed to be benefiting, but I know there was some things being investigated, some things being checked. And yes, I personally think, you know, Senegal walked off the field. That was their decision and they need to have the consequences for that. But what I can say is that needed to happen then and there. And I do understand that everybody is like, you know, adrenaline is pumping, everybody's all over the place. People are not knowing what they're doing from what they're not doing, what they're supposed to do, what the next best move is. So yes, I understand everybody was like, you know what, the show must go on because that's how we're kind of like trained. The show must go on. So everybody just like, you know what, let's do this, let's finish this off. And what can I say? What can I possibly say? I don't know. Let's go to real things now because we have some stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to talk about. There was a lot happening. There was too much happening. And there is too much happening. Not even it was. There's too much that is still going on, you guys, and we need to talk about it. And again, I put this disclaimer out. It's impossible for me to see every little news flash or every little thing that comes out in the news. I do actually have a life and I try to pick up on as much as I can and I try to filter what I feel is like maybe interesting, where we need to dig a little bit deeper or where we need to understand a little bit more of it. So it's a mix, like always. It's a mix between what's really like made the headlines and what's really like under the radar. And we're trying to see what's going on and what we are like doing here. Of course, we're going to start to talk about Iran. This has been going on for almost 3 weeks now, for 3 weeks actually. Now, when this airs, it's 3 weeks. and there's a lot of destruction, a lot going on. What can I say? Like Iran is getting ready for some funerals. There was a lot of assassinations going on of officials. Larijani was one of the last ones, and he was actually that one person that Americans could actually talk to. They said this guy was like, we could talk to him, but yet they had to assassinate him. And this is absolutely insane. I don't understand why they would do that and why they would think that assassinating um, the the officials and the government officials is going to actually weaken the country. This might have been something in the past, but it's not, because people are way more steadfast this day. The resistance is way more present, and people just, they're like not accepting this under no circumstances. You guys are assassinating their leaders, and you're supposed to, and they're supposed to be okay with it. Contrary to popular propaganda believe, not all Iranians are against their government. There is definitely, as in every country, a part of the people who is anti-government. Some of them fled a long time ago. Some of them still try to get out. Some of them have the wildest and most, horrible experience. And there's others who celebrate and love their government. So it's very hard. All I can say is don't follow the propaganda, dig deep, use critical thinking, and look into it. And there's also funerals of like children. There's children assassinated, because these people, they love to take out children, because that was one of the very first moves that they done. They went for this girls' school, and they went for multiple schools. It's not just that one school, it's multiple schools, y'all. Okay, so they went for these schools, and they have these funeral preparations for all of the people, for all of the children, for all of the people that have been taken out. These are thousands of people that have been assassinated, thousands of people, because they are deliberately targeted. Even though they say, oh, it's not like that, oh, the school was a mistake, oh, I don't know, whatever Donald Trump said in the beginning, he doesn't know, it wasn't America, it wasn't this. They keep like accusing each other, and it's so funny. Investigations, well, bro, y'all did it. Y'all love and have this thing where you want to take out children. And Israel clearly says it. The children are going to grow up to take the places of those who are there now. They're going to become terrorists. They're going to become this and that and the third. This is something that Israel has been um, saying. So it's not far-fetched, and there is a lot going on, you guys. The pollution that happens through the explosions, this is really a huge health risk, especially for children, especially for the elderly and the sick people. So it's crazy, because the fuel depots, they're hit in multiple cities, and this leads to emission of toxic pollution. So of course, this is going to happen. Of course, people are going to be affected, but I guess this is what they want, right? We have Red Crescent buildings are targeted, multiple schools, like over 60 schools, you know what I mean? Over 30, probably more now, because we're still counting. Like if I give you numbers, these are not the numbers of like right now. This is numbers from like today, and then tomorrow, the day after, when this airs, is going to be already like a whole different number. So that's why I don't like to give number. I like to give whereabouts, and that's it. Energy facilities were hit. And then we have desalination plants. So this is the drinking water affected, and this is obviously also considered a war crime, because this is affecting the population. You know what I mean? So their banks were hit as well. And what Iran said last week already is that this is a violation of the UN Charter and the Vienna Convention on diplomatic relations of 1961, when all of this was actually put to paper, and signed on. So the situation is pretty tense over there, and it seems like it's getting tenser. And Trump, obviously, he's like a little crybaby because he's been out there, like those people, like I think you have it actually in high school, but then unfortunately, even due to my own experience, in like older people, adults are actually doing this as well, where they try to mobilize others to fight your fight, right? You victimize yourself, and then you try to bully people into, speaking for you, fighting for you, and all that other stuff. So he was actually, because Iran said, okay, Strait of Hormuz, no more, right? There's no more ships coming through. We ain't gonna have it like that, right? We're gonna crack down on all the ships that pass through. We're gonna talk about the Strait of Hormuz in a little bit more. But so he's trying to get all his allies to help him, right? He's trying to get Germany to help him, France to help him, like all of the Western allies. But you know what? They said no. They said no. It was first it was about the bases. So when Spain said no, and the UK said no, he started doing the crybaby thing, right? Oh, we don't need them, they're bad, and we're not going to do trade with them, and blah blah blah. And to be honest, so they allowed him to use the basis for defense operations, not offense operations, defense operations. But for me personally, I don't know how it is for you guys, but that is you actively being part of it, because you allowed them to use anything of yours for this war on these people, and this war is nowhere near justified, right? So these allies now are saying, no, we're not going to send any ships, we're not helping. And Germany said no, France said no, Japan said no, Australia said no. What can I say? And this is him crying and complaining over the UK.
I was very surprised with the United Kingdom, because the United Kingdom, 2 weeks ago, I said, why don't you send some ships over? And he really didn't want to do it. I said, you don't want to do it. We've been with you. You're our oldest ally. And we spend a lot of money on, NATO and all of these things to protect you. I mean, we're protecting them. We're working with them on Ukraine. Ukraine's thousands of miles away, separated by a vast ocean. We don't have to do that, but we did it. Well, Biden did it. I mean, I have to be honest with you. Biden got taken to the cleaners.
So let's talk a little bit about the Strait of Hormuz, right? The Strait of Hormuz is under international law. That means it's under international right. Everybody can pass through. Nobody has really sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz, and it's between Iran and Oman. Oman and Iran were doing a little bit of the organizations in the territorial waters. Everybody, like every country, every now and then would have the Navy out there, just to make sure that everything is okay, and just to show presence, I guess, because this is a strait where a lot of the trades happen. Like oil comes through there, gas comes through there on the ships, a lot of other goods come through there from the Middle East to other places, and so on and so forth. And this is why we have this under basically it doesn't belong to anyone. You ain't paying anyone, you ain't for going through there. It's nothing, right? But Iran said no more, because we are going to mine the place, and we're going to attack every ship that is Israel or US related. Any tanker, anything coming through, it's not happening. And we saw it's not happening, because there were some ships had to literally like do a U-turn and go back, right? Other countries then started quietly negotiating with Iran about, hey, can my ship pass through? Like the French were one of the first who reached out, and they said, hey, you know what? If it's not anything to do with the enemy, with the direct enemy that we're having this issue with right now, y'all can come through. So China has its things coming through, and so on and so forth, right? There is things happening. Iran is not talking about the ins and outs and the countries, not naming anything, but they said there's negotiations happening, there are deals being made. And I totally get that. These people, if they want to stay out of this, right, and they don't want to follow this orange clown, and they want to look out for their people, I can't fault them for it. You know what I mean? And then there is the islands. There's the Kart Island, and then it's actually three of those, right? There is Abu Musa, there is the greater thumb, I think they call it, and the lower thumb, right? And this is the thing, right? These islands, there was a big dispute before 1971, when the UAE was known as the oh my gosh, it was just a sheikdom, right? It was known as the truth states. You know, it was like a bunch of little states, and they were under the British protectorate. And it was like a big dispute because about the sovereignty of these islands, especially Abu Musa, right? Ras Al Khaimah, which is one of the 7 emirates, they said, hey, the greater and lesser thumbs are ours. And Sharjah, another emirate, said the Abu Musa island is ours, right? So it was kind of like a dispute back and forth here and there. And in 1971, when the Brits withdrew and the UAE as the Emirates was actually founded, Iran kind of like agreed with what do you call it? Agreed with one of the Emirates agreed with them about Abu Musa to with Sharjah to have like a joint custody, so to speak, right? Like they both gonna administrate it, and they're all gonna, look out for it, and they're just gonna do like this joint custody thing. But it didn't work out like that, because ever since Iran has military presence there and is actually doing this whole administration over there, and this is an ongoing dispute, an ongoing issue between the Emirates or the Sharjah and Iran. The other islands, Iran was like, nah, bro, this is mine now. We taking it. There's greater and lesser done. So these are the islands, and obviously they are very strategic because they are on the coast of like the Strait of Hormuz. And not only that, it looks like we don't know how much and if and where and what, but there's resources, there's oils, there is natural gas, there might be other stuff. But if anyone knows, obviously it's Iran. And of course, America is attacking and saying or threatening to say, hey, we're coming for this island. But they're not saying, heck to the no, it's not happening. You know what? So that's what it is. And as I said, Iran has been hit hard, super hard, right? They have so many civilian infrastructures hit on purpose, because this is something that obviously Israel loves to do. This is one of their go-tos when they don't like you. They love to destroy everything because they feel like this is what's weakening the country. They also hit different sites that are under UNESCO heritage, like mosques. They love to burn a mosque. We're going to get into that a little bit later. They love to do all of this. And Iran, despite being hit hard, they hit back, right? You can see, for example, that they hit, this is an attack on an oil refinery in Haifa. Okay, they're hitting Israel, they're hitting Tel Aviv, they have cluster bombs, they have or cluster missiles, whatever you want to call them. They're hitting the north settlements there where evacuations, people are in bunkers. But how it is typical for Israel, there is a huge media crackdown. People are not allowed to post any videos. People are not allowed to show any videos. People are not allowed to even talk about it, what's really going on, how much is really destroyed, and how people are really affected. But there's still videos coming through, you know what I mean? And then you have here, Iran is attacking an American in Iraq, right? Because every country, and they said it from last year, every country that would participate, right? Because Iran cannot hit America directly, clear as day, right? So they're going to have to defend themselves, right? They have the right to defend themselves. So they're going to go for the American bases in the surrounding countries. And it so happened that it's the GCCs, right? It is Qatar, it is Bahrain, it is the UAE, it is Iraq. It's just what it is, and they're gonna have to live with it. And they are definitely turning everywhere upside down, right? Everywhere people are just like, you know, suffering. And what can we say? What can we say? It's very unfortunate that so many people have to lose their life over somebody else's ego, right? Over somebody else's ego. It's beyond sad. Um, and what can I say except all of this? Their bank's been hit. They retaliated. They hit the bank system as well, right? And especially, it's a big blow for Dubai because a lot of international banks put the headquarters in the region in Dubai, right? And some banks now are, ordered work from home for their employees. In Qatar, it's pretty much a similar situation. Some are shut down, even for now, at least. This is a huge blow, you guys, a huge blow. There is 290 banks approximately in Dubai, 102 hedge funds, and about 502 wealth management funds, right? So this is pretty much a lot. People are really scared. What's going to happen under the war? Will the people leave? Will they come back? Like, a lot of money has been taken out of Dubai and already, transferred to Singapore. But will Singapore be the new financial go-to, or will it resume and go back to normal? Because Dubai hardly has any oil, right? 12% of their GDP is from the financial sector. 5% is from construction. 8% is from real estate. And tourism is 12%, you guys, 12%. Trade is 26%. And this is the thing. And oil, only 2%. So they barely have any oil, barely. It's 2%. Why? Maybe because it's coming from there to somewhere. Maybe it's just traveling through. But it's not really so they are depending on tourism, on the consumerism, right? People buying stuff. This is what they have to depend on. International money. Like, rich people come and spend their money there, buy homes, they need the trade boom. They need for the trade business to also happen, because 26%, y'all. Okay. And people are fleeing. People are literally running. As I said, they're taking their money out. Some don't know, should I stay, should I go? And the only people who are stuck here are the people that actually make the world go around in Dubai, which are the migrant workers, right? All of these workers who are not considered as you're it. All the people who drive the cabs, who are working in restaurants, who do delivery services, who do all the labor. These people are stuck, because by no means they can leave. And in the meantime, while all of this is going on, courtesy of somebody from a so-called blue state that is forcing themselves in an area where they're simply not welcome and simply have no space and no place to be. And America is supporting all of this. And America, the White House, is having a lot of fun. According to this video that went viral last week already, they have a lot of fun. Check this out.
We're winning this fight.
This is so tasteless, y'all. This is such a stupid joke. I can't even. This is how they think they're going to rope in the Gen Zs, those people who are more in the streets than anyone else, that generation that stands on business and that around the world made a couple of leaders resign, toppled governments, and is not standing still. Those Gen Zs that sat down in the encampments last year, and they took a real big hit because they were not allowed to finish their studies. Some of them were arrested. There was so much going on. Some of them were severely injured, right? This is the Gen Z you think you can get when you use GTA graphics and when you use Call of Duty kind of like game and incorporate it in this war to appeal to them. Let's watch a little bit more. And I'll say it again, this is also supposed to help to desensitize the people, right? This is supposed to make it fun. Oh, wow, look at all the toys they have. So when I've been saying for the longest, this is a game, you can guys see it here. It's a game. And then you have people who speak out. People who don't want nothing to do with this. People who don't want to die on a front line, not for their own country, but for somebody else's country that is a colonial settlement and that apparently has the most influence on the US since I don't know when. This soldier here said he doesn't want to be part of this. He does not want to go and fight this war. Let's check it out.
If you are squeamish, do not watch this video because the cops are about to break this soldier's arm.
No one wants to fight for Israel!
Oh my God! Why are you here? Why are you getting arrested?
Free Palestine, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. Palestine will be free.
Oh my God, they broke his arm. Oh man.
We just witnessed a Marine veteran interrupting the hearing, and they broke his arm.
And this is how the US thanks their veterans. This is how you treat the people that are supposed to be defending this country. They break his arm because he doesn't want to fight on behalf of another country. Wouldn't that be treason anyway? I mean, I don't understand how this whole fronts are covered anyway. You have people who are dealing with Iran, you have people who are dealing with Lebanon, with like these people have everywhere, but they don't have their own people only. They're using other people's, all of these militia groups, these mercenaries, and it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine as long as they get to chill at their home and run their mouths. It's perfectly fine, right? And as I said, Iran is super divided, and we have to be kind of like unbiased in the sense of like what we should to show what's going on. These are Pahlavi supporters, you know, that son of the Shah that wants to come and be the interim, the bridge to liberation. Liberation from what? If anything, Iran needs to be liberated from the state, from the West. And I'll say it again, I'm not a fan of the regime. Regime, did I really say that? I stick to regime. That's better. Anywho, this is now the Pahlavi supporters in the UK protesting outside of the embassy and what's his name's Keir Starmer's house.
BBC. Oh yeah.
You guys, it's still actually shocking that as many people are vocal about this war, like nobody on this planet wants this war except, again, some old man that is being charged with fraud and so many things in the colonial state, and who has always managed to kind of like get around, a verdict because he has all these wars going on and he's so busy, right? It's still crazy to me that over 80% of the Republicans in the US are supporting this war. Why though? 11% of the Democrats, I'm not saying the Democrats are any better, but 11% at least. And there was a recent poll. I'm not a fan of poll, but check this out. 91% of Jewish votes, right? In Israel, Jewish votes, 91% of Jewish votes, not of the people who live there, of the residents, of the citizens, 91% of the Jewish votes are in support of this war in. So yes, this is the whole thing, right? And we have it here. We have here this rabbi called Yosef Mizrahi, and he said this in 2015 already during a lecture.
I don't know, maybe one of the missiles will hit the mosque and clear the place for the third Bet HaMikdash. That could also be a miracle. If it was up to me.
And this is how they get down. This is how they genuinely think, right? Blame it on Iran and let them fight each other. This is exactly the thing. There is so many, plenty false flag alarms. It happened in Saudi Arabia. Allegedly, Mossad agents were arrested in Saudi Arabia. Iran is heavily infiltrated. They arrested a lot of people who were spies and who were, on the ground for the wrong reason, right? They've been arrested. And by the way, nobody's talking about the war prisoners, the American war prisoners that are in Iranian custody, apparently almost close to 200. They didn't announce anything yet, allegedly. I'm curious to know when this will actually be a subject, right? Because they're saying not so many soldiers have died. I don't have the numbers or the, about numbers of people who died. I don't want to say nothing wrong. I have a number in my head, but I haven't checked in a few days, so I'm not sure if that's still accurate. But there's also, like, rumor has it that it's much more than they are actually admitting, right? And this false flags event, this is exactly what this Yosef guy is talking about, right? Blame it on Iran and let them fight each other. This is completely disgusting. And speaking of the Al-Aqsa is indeed closed. The first time ever since 1967 is closed during Ramadan. And this is obviously very sad for the people who live there. And honestly, at this point, I don't know why they're doing it. I really don't understand why they're doing it, because if they intend to hit it and then blame it on Iran, like, come on, bro. But of course, this is where you see it's super childish. The ego is real with these people. They don't want the Palestinians to have a good time. They don't want them to pray in their beloved mosque, which is one of the three most holiest sites in Islam. They don't want that. This is how you see. And the crazy part of all of this is, why do they have to say so? Why can they decide to shut it down, but yet they claim they are not an occupation, yet they claim that they are not in charge of the Al-Aqsa Mosque? Wow. Yeah, another lie. This Yosef Mizrahi rabbi is absolutely disgusting. I find it shameful that he calls himself a rabbi, that he calls himself a religious figure, when he is actually spewing these kind of rhetorics. This is wild, y'all. Wild. But this doesn't stop there. We have other people who are wildly disgusting as well, right? Let me see. Yes, this woman here, Goldie Gamari, right? She is a Iranian Canadian former politician who was kind of like let go because she was mingling a little bit too much with the right. Can y'all believe that? And the right people, I don't understand them either. Anyways, like this woman, she's very vocal. She's one of the Pahlavi supporters. She's one of the loudest voices there. And she is an Islam hater, right? She is the one that mixing with the whole Tommy Robinson crowds and all of these people. And she tweeted the most disgusting thing one could say, even about your own country. I understand you don't like your government. I understand you are looking for something else for your countries. But is that the reason? Is freedom? You say Iran is occupied, but is freedom bombing and burning mosques? That's what you call freedom? And I don't know if anyone told you, Miss Ghamari, but these places where Muslims pray peacefully, and in your opinion, these are Nazi occupiers who hang out there, which is absolutely insane. These mosques are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Did you know that? Or you don't care about that either, right? You just want to bomb and burn everything that has to do with Islam because you hate Islam. That's what it is, right? Sounds more plausible to me too. Yeah. And absolutely crazy. And again, you guys, this ain't stopping there. We have, of course, Lindsay Lohan. Oh my gosh. Did I really call him Lindsay Lohan? I can't. Lindsey Graham is his name. I'm so sorry. This what a oh my God, what a blow to Lindsay Lohan. Sorry, Lindsay, but no, we're talking about Lindsey Graham, the guy that is, in my opinion, some type of perv because he's obsessed with killing people. He loves killing people. This is what he had to say about this so-called war. He's talking about making a lot of money, a ton of money in the Middle East. I thought it was about freeing the people from this evil regime. I thought it was about the nuclear program that you guys are fearing. And now it's making a ton of money. Interesting. The reasons keep changing daily. The first guy to resign, Joseph Kant, and he was the head of U.S. National Counter Terrorism Center. He resigned. He can't take it anymore. He said that he does not feel comfortable and he doesn't want the responsibility to send the young people to fight this type of war. Iran is not like dangerous or threatening in any type of way the US, right? He said that. And his boss, Tulsi Gabbard, she has no clue about nothing. She doesn't know nothing. She can't say that. She doesn't know why he would say that, right? And this is so funny, right? Donald Trump keeps saying, we got it, we're almost done, we did it, we're so advancing in this, right? Iran has no chance whatsoever. We're so advancing. We got this. And then Israel is like the IDF spokesperson, right? He's saying that there's still thousands of targets to be hit, and daily they're identifying new targets, right? Every day they identify new targets. They have a organized war plan and they go and buy it. But you know what? Iran had their red line reach, and this is when the shared gas fields with Qatar was hit. And so they fired back. They fire back and they fire back hard, and people get upset and everything. It's just funny how Israel says there's thousands of targets to be hit, and we identify constantly new ones. America saying we're almost done. I don't know if the communication between those people are not really, going well, or if they are trying to out-Trump each other, like in the sense of, we're going to be, we know what's going on. Oh, no, we know what's going on. And we're the bigger people. And this is really funny because in the beginning, it was like, oh, we did it because Israel said so. Now, then it was like, oh, no, if anything, then we dragged Israel into this. So It's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of kindergarten, a lot of he said, she said, a lot of, oh my gosh, who do we believe? This is like high schoolers. High schoolers would even organize themselves way better. So Trump appointed Joseph Kent. Actually, I think it was over a year ago now. He's saying he's weak. He's weak because he actually says there's no imminent threat on the US from Iran, right? There were negotiations going on. Progress was to be made. Even Omani officials say that, right? But they needed, it was, the hands were itching. They needed to do what they're doing now. They needed to take out people, destruction upon destruction upon destruction. This is how the whole area is affected, and Iran gets all the blame. Bro, I was chilling. Y'all came to me. That's the whole thing. So the frustration is real, but these people need to get real as well. You can't be frustrated with a country who's defending themselves. Again, I'm not defending Iran or anything. It's just common sense, right? Common sense. And you have even really people who had Trump on a pedestal, right? And held a lot of him. Like this whole MAGA thing is completely gone, how it seems, right? It's dead, according to a former Miss USA who used to be quite cool with what's his name, with the Trump. So let's check out what she had to say.
I've been a loyal supporter of the president for almost 20 years. This goes back to when I was 21 years old and I was Miss California at the Miss USA pageant. And I've known him. I consider him a dear friend. And I will tell you right now, I do not recognize our president. I think that we are an occupied nation. I think that a foreign country has occupied our government. And we are seeing now that this president of the United States of America is being influenced by a foreign government.
So Trump is losing all his allies. He's losing his friends. MAGA is non-existing anymore, barely existing, barely surviving. What's the secret? Why are you so devoted to this psychopath from a colonial settlement? What is he holding against you that you don't want to come out? Like when will be the red line reached? I really want to know, what is Trump's red line? Does he have one? And again, because Iran is so divided, we have to show both sides of the aisle. These are the people who are anti Western intervention. And trust me, a lot of them are Iranians, even in the diaspora. Check this out.
My name is Hania. I'm an Iranian American. I'm Layla. I'm an Iranian American woman. I'm here today standing up against U.S. involvement in other countries and American abandonment of its own citizens. I came here because I'm against the invasion of Israel and U.S. on Iran. The American people do not support U.S. involvement in other countries. This war is costing us about $1 billion a day. That is insane. We could spend this money on universal health care, affordable housing.
It's actually sad. It makes me sad how divided this country is and how destabilized this country and these people are because of so many different factors, right? Same like they destabilized Syria, Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan, the Sahel region, and many, many more countries. And it's such a shame that so much money is being spent on this war when there is really starvation out there, even in their own land, even in America, all the homeless people, all the people who barely have any food. There's so many, there's so many, like, how do I say, like shutdown of aid for the people just so that you can go and play on these crazy war playgrounds. It's
affordable housing, schools. What right does Trump have to lecture anyone on human rights or democracy when ICE is murdering people in the streets, murdering protesters?
The behavior that you see from the ICE agents here, you see the exact behavior from IDF in Gaza, and how they treat people in Iran and how they have treated people in the Middle East, period. It's the same mentality.
Of course, you guys, we have to talk about Lebanon. The situation over there is extremely serious and it's heartbreaking. Let's look at these displaced people.
أكيد نزحت بيت الدرار وضع صعب أكيد يعني. يعني ما بقدر أشرح لك الشعور اللي نحن نبقى حاسينه، بس صعبة كتير، صعبة إنك تترك بيتك، صعبة إنك تترك أرضك. يعني بتمنى إنه، يعني أنا بالنسبة لي عندي طفلة، ما بتمنى إنها توعى على هيك شيء، على هيك وضع.
I swear, you guys, this broke my heart. Seeing these kids there, like, these are kids. They didn't even have a chance in life, and they are subjected to all of this destruction and all of this. And this is all they know. This is all they know. This is how they grow up. And we're wondering why we have so many mental health cases in this world. There you have it. This is absolutely heartbreaking. And let's look at one of the many airstrikes that the blue state is committing in Lebanon.
هكذا هو الآن غارة، الآن استهداف مخيم للنازحين، بصاروخ من الطائرات الحربية في هذه اللحظات هنا غرب مدينة غزة. هكذا المشهد الآن هنا في غرب مدينة غزة بعد تلك الغارة التي استهدفت مخيما للنازحين هنا غرب مدينة غزة.
So Israel is also put out evacuation orders. The IDF has for people to move, right? And it's beyond South Lebanon now. It's also reached Beirut by far. And they also announced that they are going to target civilian infrastructure. So where are these people supposed to go? Where are these people supposed to go? What is happening? And for those who don't believe it, that for 2.5 years in Palestine, but also in Lebanon, journalists have been targeted deliberately. Check this out.
Further rocket attacks were reported against Nahariya and a fucking hell. Fuck. Where? العدو الإسرائيلي استهدفنا متعمدا.
This is Steve Sweeney, the RT head of Bureau in Lebanon, with his cameraman Ali Rida, and they have been attacked while they were crossing the bridge in their vehicle. And this is what happens when these kind of attacks take place, right? We do know that the colonial state assassinated over 300 journalists in the past 2.5 years in Palestine, but also in Lebanon. And you guys can see the attacks are real. They're not stopping with the white phosphor. They just like throwing it all over, and it's so poisonous. It can really destroy your skin and so much more. It's so poisonous when you breathe it in for your respiratory. It's just disgusting what these people are doing. And what for? But again, it seems like a lot of people were saying, okay, Hezbollah in the south of Lebanon were very weakened because they were infiltrated and so many more things, but they are striking and they're not letting up, and they're not taking it easy. They're striking the north, they're striking, far. They even had a missile, and this is the first time they did this, go 200 kilometers, very close to Gaza, Asqalam, and that was the target, and it hit. So they are also, doing some damage, and they've been sending out over 1,000 missiles so far. And the ceasefire was violated by the occupational state over 2,000 times, okay? And nothing happened. Nothing happened. No retaliation, no warning from the so-called international community, nothing. I don't know, you guys, I really don't know. And we got to talk about Turkey because Turkey definitely made some headlines, and there is some stuff going on in Turkey. But we want to look at this video from Naftali Bennett. He is or was a former prime minister for the occupational state, and he said, Turkey is the new Iran.
A new Turkish threat is emerging. I want to be very clear. Turkey and Qatar have gained influence in Syria, are seeking influence elsewhere and everywhere throughout the region. And from here, I warn, Turkey is the new Iran.
So according to him, Turkey is the new threat. These people are not even finished with Iran. These people, nothing is even ended. They're not finished in Gaza. They're not finished in Lebanon. They still kind of like, working closely with whomever and whatever in Syria. That's a whole different story. Let's not get into it. But they are still doing all the crazy stuff out there, but they're already looking for new targets, right? New people to attack. This is some serial psychopath behavior, and it's absolutely crazy. Turkey is a NATO country, as we know, and they work closely with the West. They want to impress the West in so many different ways. Despite the criticism of Erdogan, they also take like refugees. So they kind of like, try to be like that country, and they try to be like a regional power as well, right? And they don't really like that. They don't really like Turkey to be a power, because Naftali Bennett had more to say. Check this out.
Erdogan is sophisticated, dangerous, and he seeks to encircle Israel. And while some senior Israelis were on Qatar's payroll, Qatar and Turkey are nourishing the Islamic Brotherhood monster that is growing and eventually might become as dangerous as the one created by Iran.
Naftali Bennett wants to ensure that this new alliance doesn't really go far, right? This new alliance is Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan. Pakistan being a nuclear power. So he's talking about, we were, focusing on Shia radical Islam. Now we gotta focus on Sunni radical Islam. We can't let them become something big, right? So, and he's mentioning Hamas, he's mentioning Julani and Qatar, but there is more to this whole alliance with Turkey, not just like, you know what I mean? So, I don't know where he's going with that, but let's watch a little bit more.
Let me just ask you whether there's a risk of further confrontation with Turkey based on comments that you said in the past.
Well, we need to ensure that Erdogan doesn't create a new alliance of radical Islam Sunni version, meaning an axis between himself, Julani, Qatar, and Hamas. We've been facing for many decades the Shiite radical Islam. And
these kind of talking points, this whole Shia radical Islam, Sunni radical Islam is also kind of like pushing and furthering the divide that is already existing in the Muslim community, unfortunately.
And I hope that Turkey doesn't choose to foment terror and Islamism in its power. It's up to Turkey ultimately. If they seek peace, we definitely want peace. But if they try and surround us with terror, we will not sit idle.
Turkey has put some new rules in place. So for the licensed, how how do I say this, license. So people who hold a license to sell weapons and military good, they used to use Turkey and travel through it freely without any restrictions or many restrictions, right? And they come mainly from the Balkan, mainly from Bulgaria and Serbia. And what they do is they used to kind of like bring or send weapons through Turkey to the Middle East, whether it's the Iraqi factions in Libya, they sold, or even the Yemen to the war in Yemen and between the Yemen and the UAE. Right. And it's not that all trades are illegal and everything that was happening is illegal and now Turkey is cracking down on them. It's not like that, but they want some more restrictions and some more rules in place because they need to crack down on it, as now this has been going on and things have not been done the way they should have been done, like protocol, so to speak, because when Turkey was used as the trade route for these military goods, they didn't always end up where they're supposed to be going, or the paperwork said they were going. So now, in order to put some more, restrictions in place, they have some type of like a certificate that you need to acquire in order to go through Turkey and move the military goods, right? And Turkey has been much under scrutiny, especially from the EU and the US, right? Because they cracked down on them in 2022 already, when Russia, quote unquote, invaded Ukraine and started the war with Ukraine, right? Over 1,000 Russian companies settled in Turkey after Russia was sanctioned by the West, right? And this was over 670% more than before, because when these companies were sanctioned, when Russia was sanctioned, Russian companies were obviously experiencing these sanctions as well. They didn't have access to the international payment system and so on and so forth. So they went to Turkey, they settled there so that they could operate, and there was a lot of sanctions goods that were coming through Turkey going to Russia, right? Turkey is still very close with Russia, and Russia also stated that after China, Turkey is their second biggest trade partner. So they still have close ties and they still help each other. Same way that even in this Iran situation, Turkey is helping the US, and Turkey loves to play these double and triple games, right? Didn't they tell us in May 2024 that there was a ban with trading with Israel, and now we come to find out that it's not really true. I mean, yeah, officially the ban stands, but here's the thing. Here is how they go around it. Not only by labeling goods differently and not just made by Turkey or made in Turkey or made in whatever. They have actually, this is something that these Zionists are very known for. They know how to play the game properly, y'all. So they have registered companies under Palestinian addresses, and they use Palestinian merchants basically to buy and goods from Turkey and trade with Turkey, right? This is what's been happening. So the goods are officially going to Palestine, but somehow end up in Israel, right? And we know this because over 180% more goods in 1 month were supposed to be delivered to Palestine. When all of a sudden we have 1,180% more than usual of goods going to Palestine, and then they end up in Israel. I don't know, you guys. This sounds crazy, but they know how to play the game. They know how to get around it. And Turkey, as I said, loves to play double game and all of this. And I find it actually extremely sad, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. So what can I say? And in Gaza, the situation is still unfortunately very, very bad. There's an aid stop once more. People barely have anything to eat. Any medical aid is coming in. It's extremely difficult. People are still being assassinated. There's still destruction going on. But I don't want to forget the West Bank. And the West Bank is very important because it's so quiet about the West Bank, and we barely talk about it. And it's slowly, secretly annexed, and we're just watching and with not even a close eye on it. We're just watching from a distance and maybe barely pay attention because all our attention now is on Iran. The West Bank is still experiencing a lot of settler violence. The West Bank is still experiencing a lot of storming by the IDF, the villages, the cities, the homes, the businesses. People barely have money. People barely can make money. And people are still being assassinated. And one of those assassinations is something that literally broke my heart in pieces. I don't know how many times my heart broke in my life. And I thought there must be an end to it, but it seems like it can break over and over and over again. And I feel like most of you guys are gonna feel the same. This is a family. They were out in their car, 2 parents in their 30s, 4 children. Left now are 2 kids, 2 brothers. The parents have been shot in the face and in the stomach, and so were the little children. They were little children. They were shot in their face. If this ain't deliberate, I don't know what is. And guess what? This incident is being investigated. At this point, no. This is what the little boys that survived their parents and their younger siblings had to say.
آخر شيء أبوي كان أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وبكى رافع إصبعه هذا، وإمي صيحت آخر شيء بعدين سكتت، وأخوتي ما سمعت لهم مش نفس. أنا فكرت أخوي أخرى مصطفى استشهد، بكاش ولا حدا له صوت. بكينا مروحين من نابلس، نزلنا من عند مطعم النابلسي. مرة واحدة صار علينا إطلاق نار مباشر، ما عرفناش من وين. الكل استشهد بالسيارة ما عدا أنا وأخوي مصطفى. طيب أجا الجندي سحبني طلعني برا، قعدوا يقتلوا فيي. أجوا طلعوا أخوي مصطفى، حاولوا يقتلوا، جيت وقفت قدامه، أجوا بعدين وقعوني على الأرض.
Here's something that happened in the beginning of February, and it's absolutely underreported and nobody talks about it, although I feel it's extremely significant, right? There was no coverage on the assassination of Gaddafi's son, Saif al-Islam. What happened to Saif al-Islam? Let's check it out.
Enduring a similar fate as his father, Saif al-Islam was gunned down this Tuesday. Over the last days, he'd reportedly warned about issues with his security, and all that's known for now is that 4 masked gunmen stormed his home in the town of Zintan in the northwest of Libya, disabling the security cameras before killing him. According to his lawyer, the 53-year-old moved around frequently, having been arrested and sentenced to death in 2015, a sentence for which...
This is definitely planned, y'all. These guys came out, disabled the camera, went to his home and just like took him out. They just took him out. And this is crazy. Let's watch another part.
Sentence for which he was granted amnesty. Saif al-Islam was once seen as a reformer who called for a constitution and respect for human rights, while his father Muammar Gaddafi held onto power. A rule that lasted for 42 years. But Saif al-Islam's positions changed with the Arab Spring, as he chose to back his father, orchestrating a crackdown on rebels who eventually took over the capital, Tripoli.
Who did it? And why did they do it? This is, I guess, the question here, right? It's very interesting how this guy was taken out, and Libya signed a 25-year oil development deal with Total Energies, right? Like Conoco and Philip, big time major player, global players. These are the people that they signed this 25-year-old development deal with. Insane, right? Let's watch a little bit more though.
As we agree, we arm ourselves and God willing will confront the rats today.
Seized by a militia as he attempted to flee to neighbouring Niger, he was held prisoner in Zintan as rebels captured and killed his father. An attempt to run for presidency in 2021 was quashed by the country's elections committee, and these elections have yet to be held as Libya continues to grapple with a political crisis.
Libya also issued new expiration licenses, and this is the first time since 2007, right? And what it means, these expiration licenses, is they issued them out to big companies like Chevron and Ithel Group, and they will be able to dig for oil in areas. Wow, you guys. I don't even know what to say at this point. And there's still a question that naive people would ask, will this deal bring security to the country finally? Or will Libya's future still remain uncertain, caught between rival powers and their own agendas? What a question to ask, right? Also very underreported, Germany military laws. Germany is actually out there. The kids are out there. Gen Z is out there. Or are they Generation Alpha already, the 15 and 16-year-olds? Are they considered Generation Z or Generation Alpha? Which one are they? They are out there in the streets. They skipped school and work and whatever to protest, because as Germany now is looking to modify and upgrade several, of their parts of their military, like when it comes to technology, equipment, intelligence, they want to improve also cybersecurity, so many things, like also be able to rapidly deploy forces, all of that. Those kids are protesting, and Germany is struggling to recruit. Many countries are struggling to recruit, and they're putting out all of these big, promises and big things that benefits that you can get when you join the army. But these kids are not falling for it, because the demographic change, the public perspective on all of this change. They don't want to die on the front lines. And this is what they've been saying. These kids are literally saying, I don't want to die on the front lines for the lies of the politicians of my country, right? They have better opportunities when it comes to career. They, didn't go to school. They're very much aware of what they're doing. They're in them streets. They don't want to be forced to go to the military. This is a law that is supposed to be put in place for all the people born 2008 and after, so all the 18-year-olds and whoever comes after. The kids don't agree with dying on the front lines. I can stop saying that. This is not how they see and how they envision their life, right? They're opposed to the political leadership. And Gen Z is very different. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. It's the end. It's not the same. And I'll say this. I think when you go and have military training, that is actually, it can build confidence. It can build, stamina. It can be in the sense of like, you can build up your strength, like mental strength, physical strength, emotional strength, whatever strength, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's pretty good, but I agree with them. They shouldn't be forced to give their lives if they don't want to. Nobody has the right to force you to sacrifice your life, right? They are saying if somebody wants to go to the military, they can. We're not opposing that, but we're not okay with being forced to go. But this is since I think So before it was mandatory in Germany, then it wasn't, and now it's supposed to be again. And if you don't want to join, the other option is being like like doing some type of social year or something. And they also say, hey, I don't want that either, because that's taken away a year from my plan of how I actually want to, create or whatever my life. You know what I mean? So this is getting in the way of my plans, and this is absolutely insane. So they are also saying, we don't want that. We do not want that. For all the people who thought if Kanye can do it, no other rapper can, well, let me prove y'all wrong. The new prime minister of Nepal, a country that you probably don't care about, is going to be a rapper. He is in his mid-30s, and he was part of when Gen Z last year forced the prime minister to resign due to corruption and many, many more things that people did not agree with. And that happened in September 2025. And his name was KP Sharma Oli, right? He was the former prime minister, and now he's gone. And Balendra Shah, right, his rapper named Balen, who was a mayor, right? He seems to be the new leader soon. Let's check this out.
Now we have finally got the youngest prime minister in the world. Hope we will not forget all his promises and will work on the behalf of people. Wish him good luck. Thank you.
Yeah, the 35-year-old who got his master's in civil engineering from India blew up in 2012 in the country. He had very polarizing lyrics about politics and so on and so forth. He entered politics in 2022 and won mayor of Kathmandu, and he resigned this year after all the social activities that he was involved in and he was doing, because he wanted to go big, right? He joined a party and he won 180 seats, and he is the set to be prime minister of Nepal, right? And his politics is anti-corruption, Nepal, rotten from the top, like everybody basically corrupt, everybody doing something for money. He wants to clean up. He doesn't want this to go on anymore. He wants a nationwide clean city plan. So, like he wants to clean up the place. He wants to make it look good. And he wants no textbook Fridays, which I think are absolutely amazing. So no textbook Fridays means there is no books at school on Fridays. The kids are supposed to develop and work on their skills, whatever the skills may be, right? Like ditch the books and go work on the skills, figure out your skills. When it comes to foreign policy, he is anti-India domination and Nepal first, of course. And he's pro-China loans. Like, let's take China's money, let's buy it, but no land grabs and none of that, okay? That's what he's all about. It's very interesting. I'm really curious to see where his journey is going to go. Will he be able to accomplish all of that? Because as we know, no matter in what countries, there's always people who seem to have a lot to say, more than you think. Yeah, you guys, that's all I have this week. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be back. I'm sorry if I was a little bit sometimes whatever, but you guys know me. I'm a little bit cuckoo, just a little bit, okay? So with that said, I'm out of here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to get engaged in the comment section and share, like, support, whatever you need to do. Tell a friend, tell a sister, tell a brother, tell a cousin. Eid Mubarak, you guys. I hope all of you had a great fasting month. It was absolutely amazing. For me, it was a blessing. I enjoyed. It was very fast and very weird all at the same time. But yeah, with that said, see you guys next week. Peace out.
Culturally clueless, but I'm trying to find answers in the chaos, peace inside my mind. Life's a tangled web, I'm just passing.